I booked a $9,400 family trip to Japan for Dad's 60th, only to get a text. We gave your spot to Kevin's girlfriend. She's more fun. I replied, got it. That night, I canceled the entire trip, flights, hotel, everything. When they returned, the locks were changed, the rent had tripled, and their cards declined at the coffee shop. That was just the beginning. I stared at the message on my phone, the blinking dots taunting me as if there was more cruelty waiting just below. It was from my mother. Simple, casual, like she hadn't just thrown 3 months of planning and $9,400 of my money in the trash. We gave your spot to Kevin's girlfriend. She's more fun. No apology. No explanation. Just a smirking slap in digital ink. My reply was just as short. Got it. And then I did what no one expected. I canceled the entire trip, flights, hotel, everything. Non-refundable? Didn't care. I'd booked it. I'd kill it. And that night, I changed the locks to the family house. It was in my name anyway. They'd been living there rent-free for the last 5 years, laughing behind my back. It was finally my turn to laugh. But let's rewind. Let me tell you how I got to the point where I could destroy a family vacation, triple the rent on my parents, and cut off my golden boy brother like a tumor I should have removed years ago. It started with one stupid idea, to be the good son. My dad was turning 60, a milestone. And I thought, what better way to celebrate than a family trip to Japan? He'd always talked about seeing Kyoto's cherry blossoms before his knees gave out, and my mom adored sushi like it was religion. Kevin, my younger brother, said he dreamed of eating real ramen, not the cheap college stuff. So I did the thing everyone said I shouldn't. I paid for it all. $9,400. Flights, hotels, bullet train passes, even restaurant reservations. I coordinated the itinerary between my work deadlines. Spent weekends calculating hotel proximity to shrines and shops, comparing ticket prices. I even upgraded their flights to premium economy. I didn't care about luxury for myself. I booked myself a budget seat and a small room in Osaka, because I thought this was what love looked like. But Kevin always finds a way to remind me who I am in this family. Not the favorite, not the fun one, just the guy who pays. So when I saw the text, we gave your spot to Kevin's girlfriend. She's more fun. It wasn't shock I felt. It was clarity. And clarity is dangerous in the hands of someone who's been used for too long. They always thought I'd stay quiet, until I didn't. It started with guilt. That's how they hook you, not with love, not even with obligation. Just guilt. My parents had never asked me to pay for things directly. No, they preferred subtle tactics. Kevin's doing his best, but it's so hard for young people these days. You're lucky to have a stable job, not everyone can say that. Your father and I are proud of you, you know. We just wish Kevin had your drive. At first, I paid because I wanted to. Kevin was my younger brother. I figured helping him finish college was the right thing to do. I covered his tuition, his books, even bought him a laptop when his old one mysteriously broke 2 weeks before finals. But help became expectation fast. 3 months after his graduation, he hadn't even applied for a job. Still figuring things out, he said, playing FIFA on the couch all day. I'd come home from a 12-hour shift to find him eating takeout with his feet on my coffee table, food I paid for in a house I owned. And Mom would say, he just needs some time. Don't pressure him. Dad? He wouldn't even look up from his iPad. Let the boy breathe, he'd mutter, as if I were the problem. It got worse when Kevin got a girlfriend. Madison Mads, as she insisted I call her, moved in 2 months after they started dating. No rent, of course. No discussion. Just suddenly, there. She took over my kitchen, my Netflix, my Wi-Fi. One night, I found her trying on my dress shoes for a TikTok video. I'm doing a character, she said with a wink. Don't be weird. Kevin laughed. Dude, relax. She's funny. Funny. That word would haunt me. Still, I stayed silent. I kept paying. Because family. Because what would Dad say if we fought? Because you make more than enough. When Kevin lost the job I helped him get, showing up late 3 times in his first week, I covered his car payments so his credit wouldn't tank. When Madison totaled her old sedan, I co-signed a used Mazda in my name. Stupid, I know. And when they surprised us all by saying they wanted to come on Dad's birthday trip, I didn't blink. I adjusted the plans, added more rooms, rebooked hotels. I even shifted my own PTO around to make it happen. And what did I get in return? We gave your spot to Kevin's girlfriend. She's more fun. That wasn't just an insult, it was a revelation. Because that one sentence confirmed what I'd always suspected. In my family's eyes, I wasn't fun, or loved, or even respected. I was useful. A wallet with a heartbeat. And the worst part? I'd let it happen. But they weren't done. Not even close. The morning after they landed in Tokyo, I got a text from Kevin. Yo, can you wire us some spending money? Matt's forgot her card and Dad says the exchange rates are trash. I didn't reply. An hour later, another one. Come on, man. Don't be salty. This is supposed to be about Dad, not you. I nearly threw my phone across the room. They'd stolen my spot. My vacation. My moment. And still, they wanted more. But I kept quiet. Let them enjoy it. Let them post their filtered reels of family love while I sat at home in a now empty house with a rage I could barely name. Until day 5 of their trip. That's when the call came from the hotel. Mr. Adams, we're contacting you because the credit card on file for the group reservation has been declined. And there's a discrepancy with the guests listed. A non-authorized person has been added to the suite. So that's how they pulled it off. They'd swapped me out for Madison without telling the hotel. Used my card to pay for her spot. Thought I'd never notice. That was the moment. Not the insult. Not the money. Not even being cut out of my father's 60th birthday trip. It was the assumption that I'd take it. That I'd always take it. So I logged into my bank account. Flagged the charges. Shut down the card. Then I called the hotel back. Remove all guests. The reservation is canceled. And please alert security if anyone tries to dispute it. They're not authorized. The manager paused. Sir, they're still in the room. I'm aware, I said. They can find their own way home. The day they came back and found out everything had changed. I was in the kitchen when I heard the car doors slam. Voices followed. Loud ones. Panicked. My mother's high-pitched whine. Kevin yelling. Madison's voice rising above them all, shrill and angry. I didn't rush. I stirred my coffee and waited. Then came the banging. Boom, boom, boom. Open the door. Kevin's voice. We know you're in there. I walked to the front entrance, coffee still in hand. Peeked through the peephole. There they were. All three. Red-faced. Disheveled. Luggage in a pile on the porch. Madison was barefoot for some reason. I unlocked the deadbolt. Opened the door just enough to meet their eyes. What happened to our keys? Kevin demanded. I sipped my coffee. Oh, you mean the ones I had rekeyed? They don't work anymore. Seriously, man, he snapped. Are you serious right now? I nodded, calm. Dead serious. Mom pushed past him. We just got off a 14-hour flight. We're exhausted, hungry. You're trespassing, I said. This is private property. You're joking, Madison cut in. Her voice was sharp and mocking. You're actually locking out your own family? I stared at her for a second too long. Then said flatly, you're not my family. Her jaw dropped. Kevin turned to me, eyes wide. Okay, wow. This is messed up. We were stranded in Osaka with no money, no hotel, no Wi-Fi. Do you have any idea what that was like? Must have been tough, I said. Imagine being stuck in a foreign country on someone else's dime. Oh wait, that's what you did. Kevin's face flushed red. You humiliated us. You canceled everything. We couldn't even get a cab to the airport. They froze the cards. They froze everything. Yeah, I said, folding my arms. That tends to happen when you commit credit card fraud. Mom gasped. Fraud? Oh, don't be dramatic. I held up my phone, screen glowing with a paused screenshot from the hotel manager's email. Unauthorized guest. Charges disputed. Kevin, did you or did you not add Madison to the suite using my name? He opened his mouth, closed it, looked at Madison. She shrugged. I stepped aside and let them see into the house, not that there was much left. The couch was gone. Dining table gone. All the furniture they used to lounge on like they owned the place? Donated. The walls were bare. I'd cleared out everything they touched. You emptied the house? Mom said, stepping forward. Correction, I said. My house. Kevin clenched his fists. We lived here. For years. Without paying rent, I added. Without contributing. Without respect. Mom's face contorted. We're your family. This is disgusting. You're punishing us for one mistake. I laughed once. One mistake? You stole my vacation. Used my credit. Threw me out of my own plans for my father's birthday because I wasn't fun enough. Do you even hear yourselves? You're being petty, Madison said, rolling her eyes. You're mad because we had a better time without you. That's when I stepped fully outside. Closed the door behind me. You think this is about Japan? I asked, voice quiet now. You think this is about one trip? No. This is about every moment I sacrificed for you, every dollar I gave, Every time I let you stay here, rent-free, while you laughed behind my back. We didn't, Mom started. You did, I cut in. All of you. And now I'm done. Kevin shook his head in disbelief. So what? We're homeless now? No, I said. You've got 2 weeks. Rent's tripled, utilities are on you, and the guest suite's locked. If you want to stay, you pay. He scoffed. You can't be serious. Madison folded her arms. You can't just evict us. Actually, I said, pulling a copy of the lease agreement from my coat pocket, I can. It's legal. It's done. And your credit cards? Declined this morning at the coffee shop. I got a notification. The silence hit like a bomb. I turned to walk back inside. Kevin lunged after me, grabbing my arm. Wait, please, he said. His voice cracked. You don't understand. I don't have anywhere to go. Madison, she thought this trip would make us closer with the family. She didn't mean to hurt you. Madison opened her mouth to argue, but stopped. Kevin was crying. I looked at him, really looked at him, and felt nothing. No pity. No rage. Just a clean, cold emptiness. You were my brother, I said. And you traded me for entertainment value. That's not a family. That's a reality show. Then I walked inside, locked the door, left them standing there in the wind. They came back to a new world, one without me. 3 days. That's how long it took after they came back for the real chaos to start. The first morning after their return, it was quiet. Too quiet. I expected yelling, guilt trips, maybe a barrage of messages in the family group chat. But nothing. I had breakfast alone, coffee, a croissant, and a strange, satisfying sense of peace. It was a silence I hadn't felt in years. Not the kind you hear, the kind you carry inside you. But by day 4, my phone finally lit up. Can we talk? Mom, I'm sorry about what happened. We all made mistakes. Please don't do this to your father. I didn't respond. Not because I didn't have anything to say, I just didn't owe them an explanation anymore. For the first time in my life, I felt no obligation to justify myself to people who never really listened. Then the real fallout began. The cards were blocked. Madison tried to buy coffee downtown, declined. Twice. I got the push notification and smiled. She posted a story. Some people are just vindictive, and deleted it 5 minutes later. The rent. A week after the new lease kicked in, triple the old rate, I got an email. Hi, we're struggling with the new rent. Could we discuss alternatives? No name. Just the family account. I ignored it. Jobs. Kevin, who'd spent years lounging in my house without a single proper job, suddenly started picking up part-time gigs. A friend at the gym told me Kevin was now folding towels at the front desk. I didn't feel pity. I moved into a small loft apartment downtown. Concrete floors, tall windows, minimalist everything. No family-style clutter, no borrowed shoes in the hallway, no half-eaten leftovers that weren't mine. I woke up at 7 o'clock, hit the gym, worked from home, took walks in the evening. And for the first time in years, every moment, every dollar, every breath belonged to me. No texts asking to pitch in for groceries. No guilt trips about, just a little help till payday. No calls from Mom saying, it's your brother. How can you say no? Just quiet. In week 2, Kevin finally texted. I know I messed up. I really do. Mads left. She said she didn't sign up for this. I get it now. You were right. I stared at it for a long time. This was the same Kevin who laughed at my plans. Said I was too serious. That I didn't know how to have fun. Now he was alone. Left by the fun girlfriend. Forced to face the mess without his human credit card. I didn't reply. Then, the rail bomb dropped. A letter from a lawyer. Your parents are claiming partial ownership of the house, my attorney explained, based on alleged financial contributions over the years. We've requested proof. So far, they've sent nothing. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was so absurd it didn't deserve anything more. They always believed that if I owned something, they had rights to it. I remembered my mother's line, this is a family home, sweetheart. What's yours is ours. But now, ours meant nothing. Mom sent another message. We didn't raise you to be like this. What would Dad think? This time, I replied. You raised me to serve you. That ends now. What shocked me most wasn't their anger. It was how fast they fell apart without me. Kevin was working 10-hour shifts, scrambling to cover bills. Mom started calling old friends, the same ones she used to mock for having ungrateful children. Dad? Silent. As always. He'd been quiet for every fight, every insult, every betrayal. His loyalty was to neutrality. And now? Now they were finally living in the world they built, one where I didn't exist to fix everything. And me? I sat on a new couch, in a new apartment, drinking coffee no one criticized, surrounded by nothing I didn't choose. For the first time in my life, I wasn't being used. For the first time, I wasn't obligated to show up for people who never showed up for me. And for the first time, I wasn't angry. I was free. I was never the problem. I was the solution they abused. Sometimes silence is louder than screaming. 3 months have passed since I pulled the plug. No more free rent. No more brotherly favors. No more pretending that family means love instead of leverage. I thought I'd feel guilt. Or grief. Maybe loneliness. But no. I feel something stronger. Peace. I wake up now without dread. Without waiting for the next request, the next manipulation disguised as a favor. I don't flinch when my phone buzzes. I don't brace myself for guilt trips masked as check-ins. I feel like I've stepped out of a fog, and I can finally breathe. A week ago, I found an old box while unpacking at the new place. Inside were photos, birthday cards, and a folder labeled family stuff. I opened it. Old airline tickets. Receipts from family vacations I'd paid for. Hotel confirmations under my name. It hit me like a brick. Every family memory was built on my credit card. They said I was cold, but I was the only one who kept the lights on. I flipped through a few photos. In every one, I was smiling, giving, gifting, driving, paying. And the others? Relaxed, carefree, like passengers in a car they didn't have to steer. I used to think that made me strong. Now I see that made me invisible. What they loved wasn't me. It was my usefulness. And when I stopped being useful, they stopped being loving. Kevin hasn't messaged me since Madison left. I heard from a mutual acquaintance that he moved into a basement apartment and started delivering food. And for once, I didn't feel superior. I felt nothing. Because now, his life is his responsibility, not mine. Madison scrubbed her social media clean, deleted our old photos, unfollowed the entire family. Her fun ran out when the free lifestyle did. Mom? She sent one final text. We didn't raise you to be like this. We miss who you used to be. And I answered. You miss the version of me who never said no. He's gone. Dad stayed silent. Of course he did. He always did. Years of watching things fall apart while sipping his coffee in silence. He never yelled. Never hit. He just watched. And honestly, that was worse. It made his complicity polite, but lethal. I stopped expecting closure from them. So I gave it to myself. I sat alone one night, no TV, no phone, just me and a glass of wine, watching the lights outside flicker on in other apartments. For the first time in years, the quiet didn't feel empty. It felt earned. That night, I wrote something on a sticky note and stuck it on my mirror. I owe no one more than I owe myself. And every morning since, I've read it like a prayer. Funny thing, the people who once drained me now call me distant. They say I changed. You bet I did. I used to be the bridge they walked on. Now I'm the ocean they can't cross. A few days ago, Kevin's ex, Lisa, sent me a message. We barely spoke back when they were together. But she'd always been kind. Quiet. You were the only one who saw through it. The way they treated you, it was wrong. I'm glad you left. You saved yourself. It hit me harder than it should have. Because I'd started to believe that maybe I was the problem. Lisa reminded me I wasn't crazy. I was just the first to wake up. I used to think walking away was selfish. Now I know. It's self-preservation. They taught me that love comes with sacrifice. But never their sacrifice, only mine. They called me cruel. I call it clarity. They called me heartless. I call it healing. They called me selfish. But only after I stopped being theirs. And now, the best part? I don't hate them. I don't wish them pain. I just don't owe them anything anymore. And that freedom? It's like breathing for the first time. Next week, I'm flying to Iceland. Solo trip. I've always wanted to see the Northern Lights. Never went. Because there was always someone else's emergency. Someone else's drama. Someone else's vacation at my expense. But not anymore. This time, I'll go for me. And when I'm standing under that glowing sky, in the freezing air, thousands of miles from everything I used to carry, I'll finally say it out loud. I am not your safety net. I am not your plan B. I am not your bank, your backup, or your fool. I am me. And for the first time in my life. That's enough.